welcome back to my channel, and in this video I am going to do another real-time design for you all using one of this week's glitters of the week. So I'm not going to waffle on in this video, but I quite enjoy doing these at the moment, so I can have sort of a bit of a waffle. So this video and this design is going to be a super simple set. All the nails are going to be exactly the same, so I thought it would be an ideal one to come on and do because it'll be relatively quick. So from the Gems acrylic range, I will be using crystal clear, my absolute must-have go-to clear acrylic, cannot live without. I am also going to be using Bella Rose. This is one of the core acrylics. It is a beautiful soft cover. I say it's more of a cover peach, but it's got lots of sparkle in it. It's a really pretty one. And then the glitter I'm going to be using from the Angel Mylar collection is White Witch. I think this is a really funky mix. It's got a bit of blue, bit of orange, bit of clear iridescent Mylar in there. Bit of fun, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to use this one. So I've ended up with this one. I've done designs with probably half of the Mylars this week. Let me think. 4, 5, 6, 7, just over half. Which, when it's a larger collection, so 12 glitters in this one, as opposed to some of the smaller ones with sort of 5 or 6, where I can manage to do a design with every glitter. It's a little bit harder to do one with every colour when it's a larger collection. I mean, 12 is a lot better than some of the collections because the sparkling and the super fines, I mean, they were huge collections, but we're going to try. So I am going to do a really simple ombres using the glitter and Bella Rose. Now we're getting towards sort of prom season, and I think ombres are a staple design for prom. You can sort of pick out colours from dresses. If you want to do glitter, just go with your sort of your standard glitter, but sometimes it's quite nice to mix it up and use something like White Witch, which is a slightly different mix. I quite like it. This is a really nice collection. Anyway, I thought White Witch was quite a unique mix out of all of them. I don't know, maybe it was just because of the blue, the orange and sort of the clear. I don't know, it just sort of jumped out at me. But I was umming about what glitter I was going to use to do sort of an ombre, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it, because when you sort of look at it in the pot, it's kind of like, oh, what would I do with that? But I do like this one. So I'm just starting off with my thin clear base. To be honest, because I'm using Bella Rose, which is the cover powder at the sort of from the cuticle down, so it would be on 90% of the nail bed. If I was on an actual person, you could do without the thin clear base, because if you were going to do a redesign, you could file back down to Bella Rose and just file that down thin. But I suppose for me it is just habit, and I always do a thin clear base. Try and keep that routine, and it just becomes second nature, and that is how I like to do it. I'm now going to go in with the glitter at the tip. So I'm going to do my favourite kind of ombre, where where instead of ombreing the glitter over top of the colour or the cover in this case, it's underneath and it sort of pokes out. So I've been finding if I tip out some of these Mylar pieces it just helps where I need to fill in any gaps or pick up smaller amounts. I want to get as near to full coverage as I can. Not easy when you're looking at a chunky glittery mix. So you want to work very wet beads of clear acrylic, sort of wetter than normal, because it gives you more play time to move those Mylar pieces around, and you're wanting to use the tip of your brush to push them into place to get sort of that coverage you want. And by just tipping some out, I can then pick it up from my little bit of paper towel and work on getting that coverage. I've got no orange on this one. I mean, how rubbishly awful is that? No orange. So we want to think about how we're placing this, because although we're going to encapsulate and that will then file, and when we file we can file down any bits that sort of sticking up. We want to get some smaller pieces in to fill in any gaps. These particular tips have got quite a bit of a C-curve, so you might find that the smaller glitter pieces work better, and then you can sort of lay them either side of your C-curve sort of thing. So I'm just building up. I've got a lot of the clear and the blue, but I didn't have much of that orange going on, so just picking out some more orange. And I think that's good for the first nail. You see, it is really bumpy. It is all sticking up. We can press it down a little bit, but like I said, we are gonna get rid of all of that when we file. So I said I was happy. I just feel I need a little bit more here. There we go, that's better. And I want to try and get a good mix of all of the colours, and I'm sort of taking it down to what is that base nail free edge. On a client, that would be your natural free edge. This is not a real client or a real person. Now we're just repeating that process. So, slightly different this time. Put my wet bead on the nail, and then I'm just using the wet brush to pick up that Mylar and pat it into that wet acrylic. And then you can see I'm just using the very tip of my brush just to move it around, fill in any little gaps. And you can sort of use this to pick out sort of the shapes that are going to fit in the gaps. A bit like a puzzle. Keeping it nice and wet so I've got time to move the Mylar pieces around. Trying to avoid too many big gaps. Appreciate that we might have a few, but trying to avoid loads. If you wanted more of a sort of full coverage, you could do maybe iridescent fine glitter underneath, or an iridescent multi-mix. But I think you start to lose the Mylar effect if you place them on top of other glitters. And they also look very different depending on sort of the base colour you use. So I'm just going in with the clear, you know, doing it on a clear tip here. But if I was to pick out a colour and do it on that, it would look different. And that's sort of one of the things I love about iridescence and Mylars is, you know, just depending on that base colour, we can really mix up the design. So I'm just finishing off here this third nail, and you can see I'm just sort of going in with my wet brush and little bits of wet acrylic, just adding a little bit more of the Mylar where I need it. And then last but not least, the little pinky. So here again, we're just pressing it down into that wet acrylic. We want to press it in so we got it as flat as we can get it. Obviously, as I said, if you have got any little bits sticking up, we will file them down if they haven't been sort of flattened during encapsulation, and you're not going to lose any sort of the colour of them. Whereas if you file into a sort of a holographic glitter, sometimes you lose the colour and it ends up looking silver, which is often the base colour of your glitter. With these sort of iridescence, if you do file into it, you're not going to lose the colouring. Again, I want to make sure I've got a good mix of the colours on these nails. So I feel like this nail is another one where I'm missing out some orange. And then pat it down. And then what I want to do is just let that set, which is what I tend to do when I'm working with all sorts of glitter designs, is let that base, or not that base, let that glitter layer or design or whatever you've done. Oh God, look, I've got glitter in my clear acrylic now, so let's just get rid of all of that. Better. So let that set, because what I don't want to do is then start adding my Bella Rose in this case and then smush up my glitter design and what I've been doing, and then create holes and gaps in the design. So how have you guys been enjoying these slightly different videos that I've been doing, sort of the real-time talking as we go, as opposed to voicing over at the end? Would love to have your opinions and your sort of feedback, and also any other sort of video requests. Please let me know. So this is Bella Rose. Not easy to see, but you've got a little bit of sparkle in there. I think you can catch it. So I thought that would be quite nice with that Mylar. So first one is nicely set. So we are ready. We're going to go in with Bella Rose from the cuticle. And just going to feather it over the glitter. I'm not looking to sort of cover the glitter completely. I'm just looking to feather it over ever so slightly. So getting shape around the cuticle. I've got a bit of glitter on there that I really don't want. We're going to have to encapsulate where the glitter is on this design, but we can sort of bring in some height back towards the cuticle with Bella Rose, as it is a strength powder, and not have to worry about encapsulating all the way back. So we could then sort of start our clear from here, depending on how much coverage, sorry, not coverage, how much height and thickness we've got. So I'm not liking this bit here, it's just sort of stopping. So I'm going to pick up a bit more of Bella Rose. This is a bit wetter, and I can just bring that over. I'm just going to fade back as well. And here we go. And I'm just going to... So I've stuck my finger in that there, so we're just going to fix that. Every now and then, I stick my finger in. Right, and I'm just going to now do exactly the same on the rest of these nails. So I'm gonna have a shut up and just let you watch. It's funny how I sort of pick up better as I go along. So that first nail, it was a bit faffy, but then sort of getting the hang of it. So I'm just going to talk through quickly how I've, for anyone who just needs a little bit of extra info. So I've picked up my bead and I'm just placing it just short of the cuticle. I'm then going to use the brush and start tapping it back neatly around that cuticle line, and then sort of get it neat around the sides as well, and then just pull the front of it into the glitter. So I've got that bit there sticking up, and that's fine. And there we go. Super simple set. 3 products, well, 4 products and a brush. And you could do this with any cover powder and any glitter. I think this one's kind of got a bit of an oceany, mermaidy vibe going on as well. But I think it's really pretty. It's sort of a very subtle design, easily wearable. So the next job is to encapsulate in clear acrylic. Make sure all of that Mylar is fully encapsulated. As I said, where it's sticking out a bit because of the shape of the Mylar, I'm going to end up filing some of that away, but that is not a problem. If you wanted to get the Mylar to lay slightly flatter and sort of shape to the contour, the curve of the nail, could use something like the bits of plastic I use with glitter shapes and really press it down to shape it. But I wasn't too worried. These little bits, they will just file away and you won't lose any of the look of the design. It'll just smooth out. So I'm going to encapsulate in clear acrylic. this is where I'm then going to build up all of my structure. I will put my apex in. I don't necessarily need to go right back to the cuticle with my clear acrylic, because Bella Rose, as I said, is a cover powder, and where most of these, my cuticle is just right, I can sort of start that bead short of the cuticle, just sort of where I want to be placing my apex, and then I will file these nails to shape, refine the surface, really smooth them out, and then we'll be ready to top coat these nails. So 3, 2, 1, go. So we're all freshly filed with this design. I've given these hands a good clean, get rid of all the dust that was stuck on the hand. Oh, I should have got a picture, because there's nothing like a freshly filed look. But I'm just going to give them another wipe over, just the nails, get rid of any little bits that might have attached themselves in between washing the hands and now, and also where I have touched the nails myself, just get rid of any oils that may have transferred from me to them that can affect the adhesion of the top coat. I am going to leave these as they are. You could in fact even leave them matte, but I'm just going to top coat these. I'm not going to add any crystals or anything like that. You could add some sort of at the cuticle if you would like, or you could do sort of an accent nail with some crystals down the middle or something, but the whole point of this design was just a simple ombre, and so I'm actually going to keep it that way. So we're going to bring in Miss Tina Top, and she's going to do her thing with this set. I love top coating all the time, but I especially love it when you've got a little bit of shimmer, a little sparkle, a little bit of glitter or something in the design, because it really wakes it all up. You can really appreciate the sparkle in that cover acrylic in Bella Rose. You can start to, you really see the colours in our Mylar, and as you've seen me do several times in designs where I've used sort of got clear tip or I've used an iridescent glitter, I'm just going to swipe the brush underneath just to help make that even more transparent and glassy. And what you can do is either if it's a practice hand or your client, just get them to flip their hand over and cure again. Sometimes with these sort of glitters where they are sort of the iridescent and the transparent, it cures through quite well. Some that you've got more slightly darker glitters, you might find you want to flip over and do a full cure. With these sort of glitters, I just flip over and do a 30-second cure because it's already semi-cure. I just want to make sure it's properly cure. Does that make sense? Yeah, I hope so. So I'm just going to finish applying Tina to all of these nails. As I said when I was applying and doing this, where the glitters were really sticking up, some of that will end up being filed away when I come to file, but because of the type of glitter the Mylar is, you're not going to lose anything in the design. It's not like a holographic or sort of a foily glitter where if you file off the colour of the glitter it's going to be silver. This hasn't lost any of that iridescentness, so look fabulous. So we're going to pop in the lamp, cure for 60 seconds, and they're done. So here we have them fully cured, and this design is now finished. Don't forget, if you are working on an actual client, a real person, real hand, fingers and nails, finish off with some cuticle oil just to rehydrate the skin around the nail, which we've obviously dehydrated at the beginning to make sure everything adheres to the nail. I think this is a really cool Mylar mix. I love the sort of the mix of the almost clear blue, I say clear blue, you can see, with the light blue and the bluey green and the orange. It's giving me fish tank vibes. Sounds silly, but think, you know, sort of the bluey clear water and the orange goldfish. My mind works in the weirdest, most stupidest ways, but I really love how this one's turned out. It is super simple. You could definitely do something like this for party nails, prom nails, even wedding nails. Just a super simple glitter ombre. Instead of using a holographic or metallic-y foily glitter, we've gone with this iridescent Mylar, but I think it is lovely. I really like how this one has turned out, and I hope you guys do too, because that is what's important to me. So we have come to the end of this video, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget you can always leave me any comments down below. If you've not already, I'd love it if you would click that subscribe button, and make sure you check out the description box because I'll pop the product links in there. It is all, sorry hand, it is all from the nail team, well, apart from the hand itself, which is from Red Iguana. You can use my code at the nail team, Helen5, for a 5% discount on all full price products. And don't forget, the glitters of the week this week are on offer. So if I have tempted you with these Mylar glitters, now is the perfect time to go and treat yourself to them. That's it for this video. I will be back in another one very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye. Mwah.